What happens when a simple contract marriage turns into a whirlwind of unexpected emotions? Can a deal made for money blossom into something real, or will it all come crashing down? Hi, I'm Lily, and I'm 16 years old. I live in a small town where everyone knows each other. Life has been anything but easy for my family. We've faced a lot of challenges, especially with money lately. I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this, entering into a contract marriage with Alexander Blake, a wealthy CEO. He's older than me, successful, and has this intense aura about him. At first, it was about saving my family's home, but now everything is more complicated. I'm learning about love, trust, and what it means to take risks. Join me on this journey as I navigate my feelings, my family struggles, and what it truly means to choose between love and security. I sat on my bed staring at my phone. The screen lit up with an email from Alexander Blake. He was a powerful CEO known for his cold demeanor and sharp business sense. I took a deep breath. Should I open it? Lily, dinner's ready, my mom called from the kitchen. My heart sank. Our family was in debt and things were getting worse. Could this email really help us? Coming, I shouted back. I finally clicked on the email. My heart raced as I read the words. I can help you with your financial troubles. Meet me tomorrow. I gasped. Who are you talking to? My younger brother, Jake, poked his head in. No one, I quickly said, trying to hide my worry. Just school stuff. He narrowed his eyes. You look weird. Thanks, Jake, I mumbled. I tried to push the email out of my mind as I sat with my family at dinner. They were chatting, but I felt so distant. Lily, what's wrong? My mom asked. Nothing, I snapped. I felt a wave of guilt. They didn't know our debt was piling up. Are you sure? She pressed. You can tell us. I just need to focus on school, I said, forcing a smile. After dinner, I went back to my room. I needed to find out more about Alexander. Why was he offering to help me? The next day, I felt a strange mix of hope and fear as I walked into the cafe where we planned to meet. I spotted him at a corner table. He wore a crisp suit and had an air of confidence that made my stomach twist. Lily, he said, looking up at me. Yes, I replied, my voice shaky. Sit down. His tone was all business. I hesitated, but sat across from him. Why are you helping me? I asked, trying to sound braver than I felt. He raised an eyebrow as if he didn't understand why I was surprised. I can help you pay off your debts, in exchange for something. My heart raced. What do you want? Just a favor, he said, leaning back. It won't be hard. I felt panic bubble up. What kind of favor? Let's discuss the terms first. His voice was cold, and I felt uneasy. I shifted in my chair. I don't know if I can trust you. He narrowed his eyes. Do you have another option? Your family is struggling, aren't they? Those words hit me hard. I thought of my parents working late and the piles of bills on the kitchen table. Yes, but nothing. This could help. His eyes were piercing. Think about your family. I felt tears sting my eyes. Would I have to do something I didn't want to? I need time to think, I said quietly. Time is luxury you don't have, he replied sharply. I felt a wave of anger. You don't understand. This isn't just a business deal for me. Then what is it for you? He challenged. I stared at him, frustration bubbling inside. I don't know, I finally yelled. He leaned closer, his expression softening for just a second. Then decide quickly, time is running out for your family. I swallowed hard. My heart was racing. The weight of my family's future was resting on my shoulders. Could I trust him? The next day, I paced my room like a trapped bird. After that meeting with Alexander, I couldn't stop thinking about his offer. Marry him in exchange for $5 million? It felt unreal. I sat on my bed and stared at my reflection in the mirror. "What are you doing, Lily?" I whispered. "This isn't you." But then I pictured my family's home. I could see Mom and Dad worried about losing it. I needed to do this. My phone buzzed, breaking my thoughts. It was a message from Alexander. "We need to finalize the agreement. Meet me at the same cafe." A knot formed in my stomach. I didn't want to go, but I had to. When I arrived, Alexander was already waiting. He looked up and gestured for me to sit. "You've thought about my offer?" he asked. "Yeah, I guess," I said, trying to sound casual. "Yes," he replied with a smirk. "You have to be sure. There are rules." "Rules?" I asked, feeling the tension increase. "Yes, we'll have a schedule. It's a script for our personal life. You follow it and you'll get the money to save your home." "I don't like the sound of that," I replied, feeling trapped. He leaned forward, his voice steady. "It's either this or your family loses everything. Is that what you want?" "No," I said, my voice rising. "But I don't want to be controlled either." "It's not control. It's structure," he said, looking straight into my eyes. "You won't be doing this alone. I'll be there." I crossed my arms, bitterness rising. "You act like this is easy." "It's not. But life isn't fair, Lily. I'm offering you a way out." "What if I say no?" I asked, my heart pounding. "Then you risk losing your home. Your family will suffer." Silence fell between us. I felt the heaviness in the air. My thoughts raced. The idea of marrying a man I barely knew, living a scripted life, it felt wrong. But then I thought of Mom and Dad. My heart ached. "All right," I finally said, my voice shaking. "I'll do it. But I have questions." "Ask away," he replied, leaning back. "What are the rules?" I asked, wishing for clarity. "First, we'll pretend to be a happy couple in public. Second, no dating other people. Third, follow the schedule for events and meetings. Simple." "And I get the money after what?" I said, hesitating. "After 6 months of our agreement, you'll receive the payout," he explained, his eyes narrowing a bit. 6 months? That's a long time, I said, feeling overwhelmed. "It's for your family. Think of them," he reminded me, his tone sharp again. "It always comes back to them." I buried my face in my hands. "You can do this," he said softly. "I believe in you." "Believe in me? You don't even know me," I snapped, frustration boiling over. He shrugged. "I know enough. You're strong. You'll handle it." I wanted to throw my phone at him. "Strong? I'm scared. I'm only doing this because I have no choice." He sighed, looking more human for a moment. "Sometimes life gives us choices we don't want, but you'll emerge from this, Lily. I promise." "Promise?" I echoed, feeling doubtful. "Yes, you'll make it through," he said firmly. I took a deep breath. "Okay, let's do this, for my family." Alexander extended his hand. "Welcome to our agreement." I looked at his hand, feeling both a fire of anger and a wave of determination. I shook it, sealing my fate. As I left the cafe, I felt trapped but determined. I would do anything to save my family. Days turned into weeks since I signed the contract with Alexander. My life felt scripted, like I was performing in a play. We had our schedule, and it felt like I was just following his orders. I was tired of it. One evening, we were getting ready for a charity event. I looked at my reflection in the mirror and felt frustrated. "This isn't me," I muttered. Lily, are you ready? Alexander called from the other room. I'll be down in a minute, I shouted back. As I applied my lipstick, I realized I had to stand up for myself. I stepped into my dress and walked down the stairs. He was already waiting, looking sharp in his tuxedo. You look beautiful, he said, but I could feel the control in his voice. Thanks, I replied coolly, but can we talk first? About what? He asked, tilting his head. About this whole marriage act. I don't want it to be just a script. You knew what you signed up for, Lily, he said, his voice serious. I signed to help my family, not to live like a robot. I want to have a say in my life, I insisted, feeling the fire rise in me. He raised his eyebrows, clearly surprised. You're challenging me? Yes, I am, I said, feeling bold. This isn't fair to me. You can't control everything. He stared at me, and for a moment I saw something change in his eyes. I see you're stronger than I thought. Don't just brush me off. I have feelings, and I want to be a part of this, not just a puppet. He stepped closer, and I held my ground. I didn't expect him to ask that. More choices, like I want to pick what we wear or how we act at events. I don't want to feel like I'm pretending all the time. He nodded slowly. That's fair, but our agreement still stands. Fine, but can we at least be real with each other? I crossed my arms, my heart racing. Real? He echoed, a slight smile breaking his serious demeanor. You mean like actually getting to know each other? Yes, exactly, I said, feeling hopeful. You don't even know what I like. What do you like? He asked, his smile growing. I took a deep breath. I love reading, especially adventure stories. I love the ocean, and my favorite food is pizza. Pizza? He laughed. You're so ordinary, yet different. I raised my eyebrows. What do you mean by that? I don't know, you're refreshing. Most people only care about appearances. You seem to care about more. I felt a strange flutter in my stomach. Well, I want to be me, not just your wife in a scripted life. Maybe I'm learning something from you too, he said, surprising me again. I looked at him, not sure how to respond. You really mean that? Yes, he replied with more honesty than I expected. You have strength I didn't realize. It's valuable to me. That was new. I felt a warmth inside. I didn't just see him as the controlling CEO anymore, he was starting to feel like something more. Thanks, I said shyly, feeling vulnerable and strong at the same time. Let's tackle this together, all right? He suggested. Together sounds good, I agreed. As we stepped out of the house, I felt different. Maybe this wasn't just a contract. There was potential for more. My heart raced at the thought. Was I beginning to like him? I pushed the idea away, deciding to focus on the now. We were stepping into this new world together, and it felt like we were starting to break away from the script, just a little. It was supposed to be an ordinary day, but suddenly everything turned upside down. News broke that Alexander's company was involved in a scandal. People were outraged. I watched the news in shock. Oh no, this is really bad, I exclaimed, pacing the living room. Lily, I need you, Alexander said, bursting through the door. He looked stressed, his hair slightly messy and his eyes dark with worry. What can I do? I asked, trying to keep calm. I need a plan for managing this PR crisis, he said, looking desperate. People need to trust me again. Okay, let's think, I said, taking a deep breath. I could feel the pressure building. You can't just ignore this. You need to address it directly. He sighed, rubbing his temples. You're right. What if you host a press conference? I suggested. You could answer their questions and show them you care. That's risky, he replied, his brow furrowed. What if they don't believe me? I'll be there with you, I said firmly. We can do this together. He looked at me, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. You really think I should? Absolutely. You're a good person and they need to see that side of you. Just be honest. Finally, a small spark lit in his gaze. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. We spent the rest of the day preparing for the conference. I helped him write his speech, making sure it was heartfelt. The more we worked together, the more I saw how much he valued my ideas. You're good at this, he said as we sat in his office reviewing notes. I practice a lot, I joked, but seriously, it's just about being real. As the evening approached, I could see his nerves. What if I mess up? He asked, running a hand through his hair. You won't, I said confidently. Just remember, you're not alone. You've got me. He nodded, a hint of a smile breaking through his worry. Thanks, Lily. I know I can be hard-headed sometimes. Just a little, I teased, and he chuckled. When the time came, we stood in front of the crowd of reporters and cameras. Alexander took a deep breath. Hi everyone, he began, his voice steadier than I expected. I'm here today to talk honestly about the situation my company is facing. We've made mistakes and I take full responsibility. I watched him, pride swelling in my chest. He was brave, owning up to his failures. As he spoke, I felt more than just a partner. I felt like we were a team. After the conference, he had a different energy. I can't believe how well that went, he said, his face lighting up. You really helped me there. Thanks to you listening, I replied, feeling elated. That was smart of you to suggest getting feedback from the community, he added, appreciation shining in his eyes. You really get people, Lily. I smiled, just trying to help. We walked out together, and I noticed how the air felt lighter. Do you think the public will forgive me? He asked, still uncertain. It's a start, I said. You showed them who you really are. As we headed to the car, something funny happened. I tripped over a small crack in the sidewalk and stumbled. Whoa. I gasped, trying to catch my balance. Alexander grabbed my arm just in time, pulling me back up. We both burst out laughing. Clumsy much? He joked, grinning. Hey, it's not my fault, I said, giggling even more. It's okay, he replied with a smirk. Just trying to keep you on your toes. In that moment, I felt a genuine connection with him. We weren't just business partners, we were sharing laughter and lightness amidst the storm. Thanks for being here, he said as our laughter faded. I actually feel hopeful now. Me too, I said, smiling wider than ever. Together, we faced the world outside. Maybe this agreement was bringing us closer after all. Maybe this was the start of something beyond just a scripted life. After the press conference, things changed between Alexander and me. We spent more time together and I started to feel comfortable around him. I was surprised by how easily I opened up. One evening, he surprised me by saying, "Let's cook dinner together." Really? I asked, my eyes wide. You want to cook? Yes, I need to learn how to make more than just takeout, he replied, chuckling. Okay then, what do you want to make? I asked, feeling excited. Pizza, he suggested with a grin. Perfect, I laughed. Let's do it. In the kitchen, we moved around each other, cutting veggies and spreading tomato sauce. I could tell he wasn't used to this. How much cheese do we need? He asked, holding a block of mozzarella. More than that. Cheese is essential, I said, and he laughed. Got it, he said, grating the cheese like a pro now. He tossed some cheese onto the crust, and we worked together, laughing and joking. Remember when I tripped over the sidewalk? I said, trying to dodge a sprinkle of flour he tossed at me. He laughed harder. You mean when you almost fell flat on your face? Yes, and you saved me, I said, smiling wide. I'll always be here to catch you, Lily, he replied, his tone suddenly serious. I felt a warm flutter inside me. Thanks, but I can't always rely on you, you know. Why not? He said, scrunching his brow. I want to help. Because I signed up for a contract, not a romance, I said, my voice wavering. He paused, looking at me closely. So, you think this is just a contract to you? I took a deep breath. Yes and no. I didn't expect us to grow like this. Like what? He pressed. I don't know. I didn't plan to feel closer to you, I said, frustration bubbling in me. This wasn't in the deal. What's wrong with feeling close? He asked gently. Everything. I still worry about my family, I confessed, looking away. He placed a hand on my shoulder. Lily, your family is important, but you deserve to feel happy too. I glanced at him, surprise washing over me. You really think so? I know so, he replied softly. We sat together on the kitchen island, waiting for the pizza to bake. It was quiet for a moment, and I could hear the timer ticking down. This feels nice, he said, breaking the silence. I nodded, biting my lip. Yeah, it does. Before I could think too much about it, I blurted, What's your favorite childhood memory? He looked thoughtful. I used to go camping with my dad. We'd sit by the fire and watch the stars. What's yours? I smiled, remembering. I loved going to the beach with my family. We'd build sandcastles and eat ice cream. It was perfect. That sounds amazing, he said, his eyes warm. The timer beeped, interrupting our moment. We jumped up to check on the pizza, and I felt my heart race. It looked delicious. We did it, I squealed. It actually looks good. It smells good too, Alexander said, taking a big whiff. We sat down at the table, and I took a bite. This is fantastic. He grinned. Thanks to my expert skills. More like thanks to my supervision. I laughed, feeling something shift in the air. As we shared pizza and stories, I realized how much I enjoyed his company. My heart fluttered at the thought, but what would happen if I started to like him? Would that ruin everything? I pushed the thought away, focusing on the joy we shared. At that moment, all that mattered was this laughter and the food, and the spark of something new between us. The year was almost over and my heart was heavy. I had promised myself I would file for divorce. It was time to end this contract with Alexander and set my life back on its original path. One chilly afternoon, I sat at my kitchen table, glancing at the divorce papers I had printed. My hands trembled and I took a deep breath. Lily, are you okay? Alexander asked as he walked in, catching me off guard. Yes. Just thinking, I replied, trying to sound casual. He raised an eyebrow, sensing my tension. You have that look again. What's going on? Nothing, I said too quickly. Come on, just tell me, he said, leaning against the counter. I hesitated. The words were stuck in my throat. I wanted to scream, I'm about to end this. But the truth was, I didn't want to hurt him. Fine, I said, finally pushing the papers to the side. I'm filing for divorce. His expression changed instantly. What? You can't be serious. I am. The year is almost up, and this was the agreement, I said, my voice rising with frustration. I thought you understood. I thought we were more than just a contract, he replied, his eyes wide. My heart sank. We are. But we had a deal. It's time to let it go, Alexander. Why would you want to do this? He asked, confusion etched on his face. Because I need to move on. I can't just pretend this never happened. He stepped closer, desperation in his voice. But I don't want a divorce, Lily. What are you talking about? I said, shock flooding through me. You don't want the money? I don't want the money, he said loudly, his emotions spilling over. I want you. What? I gasped, my heart racing. He took a deep breath, running a hand through his hair. I've fallen for you, Lily, more than I ever planned. I don't care about the contract anymore. I want you in my life, forever. My mind raced. Was he being serious? But we started as a business deal. This isn't how it's supposed to be. I know, but things changed. You changed everything for me, he said earnestly. You showed me what it means to truly feel. I don't want to lose that. I felt a whirlwind of emotions. My heart fluttered, but my head filled with confusion. But what about my family? I still need to help them. That was my original reason. And I respect that, he replied, his voice calming. But I want to be with you while you do it. I want to be your partner, not just in a contract, but in your life. For a moment, I was silent, trying to process everything he said. You can't just change the rules, I whispered, even though deep down my heart wanted to. I'm not just changing the rules. I'm asking you to see me as more than just a CEO or your husband by contract. He stepped closer, determination in his eyes. I want to know you, all of you. I shook my head in disbelief. Are you serious? You want to go from a business marriage to having a real relationship? I do, he said softly. You've made my life brighter. Let's not end this. I looked into his eyes and saw sincerity. The warmth I once felt in the kitchen cooking together rushed back. I felt pieces of my heart surrendering. I don't know if I can, I murmured, tears welling in my eyes. Just think about it, he said gently. I don't want money. I want your presence. I want to build a life with you. The weight of his words settled over me. What was I really feeling? What should I do now? As I stood there, I felt torn between my original plan and the new feelings growing inside me. Could I really choose this path? Could I be brave enough to follow my heart? Just think about it, he repeated softly. In that moment, I realized I had a choice to make. It wouldn't be easy, but perhaps my heart knew what it wanted, even if my mind still hesitated. My mind was swirling. I felt like I was standing at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. Alexander's confession echoed in my head, I don't want money, I want you. I couldn't shake the uncertainty. Did he really mean it? Or was this all part of the contract? That evening, I paced around my room, biting my nails. What am I going to do? I whispered to myself. I needed to talk to him. I took a deep breath and found Alexander sitting in the living room, buried in paperwork. Can we talk? I said softly, my voice trembling. He looked up instantly. Of course. What's on your mind? I sat down, my heart racing. I've been thinking about what you said. And? He prompted, leaning closer. I need to know if this is real, I said, my voice breaking. Is it love or just part of the contract? He paused, searching my eyes. Lily, I've never lied to you. Every moment we've spent together has made me realize I care about you more than I thought possible. But how can I trust that? I asked, feeling a lump in my throat. My family needs the money. If I leave, I ruin everything. What about your happiness? He said, frustration creeping into his voice. What do you want? I want to know if I'm worth more than a contract, I exclaimed, tears stinging my eyes. What if you're just trying to keep me around because it's convenient? Lily, it's not like that, he said, standing up. You make me want to be a better person. You've opened my eyes to feelings I've buried for years. I want you to join me in my life. But you didn't plan this. You didn't plan me. I cried, my emotions pouring out. What if I fall for you and you change your mind? What if I trust you and get hurt? Alexander stepped forward, his expression softening. I promise I won't change my mind. I want to build something real together. We can take our time, but you have to believe in us. I don't know how, I shouted, feeling overwhelmed. What if I stay for love, but everything you said was just a business deal? He reached for my hands and I flinched at first, but let him hold them. I don't want that. I want you to stay because you want to, not because of the money. Can we explore this together? Closing my eyes, I felt the weight on my heart. But my family, they depend on that money. Your family does need help, but you also need to think about your life, he said, squeezing my hands. This isn't just about finances, it's about your dreams too. You matter. Anger and sadness swirled together in my heart. What if it doesn't work out? What if I end up heartbroken and alone? Then we'll figure it out together, he said firmly. I don't want to let you go. I don't want to pretend this is only a contract. I want you to choose me. I stared into his eyes, searching for honesty. What if I choose you and it all falls apart? Then we'll reassemble the pieces, he replied, determination in his voice. But I believe in us. I want you to believe too. My heart raced, battling my fears. Could I really let go of my safety net? Was risking my heart worth it? I need time to think, I finally said, my voice trembling. Take all the time you need, he said gently, but don't close your heart off to this. As I withdrew my hands, feeling a shiver of doubt, I realized how deeply I was torn. My family's future and my chance for love hung in balance. Could I trust his feelings and open my heart, or would it all come crashing down? I felt lost in the storm of emotions. I knew I had to decide soon, but how could I choose? So what would you do if you found yourself torn between a secure future and the chance for true love? Would you choose safety or follow your heart? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what you would do.